just being in gear, I think, I don't know if it's like you're right, different. I'm in gear all the time. I'm in gear every tour I'm in. I'm always wearing my gear. So it's like I guess it's a little more biased, right, too, about me. But like I feel like there's other things you can do besides wear your gear and work out. I know a lot of guys do it for the gram. A lot of guys do it for like the 9/11 stair climbs. I get it, but like sometimes I think gear it shouldn't be for like working out, weightlifting.
All right. Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome, Relentless Rejects Podcast, episode 12. Thank you for tuning in once again. If this is your first time, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, please share the show. Share the show and help get my guests' story and platform out there. That's all we're doing is we're trying to share the message that like-minded individuals in the fire service have. And that's what this platform is all about. And as you know, I don't like to do an in-depth bio of the guest. I like to let them do all the talking. So my guest today is Will Hegedus. Let's bring him in. Will, how you doing?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got this fancy office, and you're just in there just getting after it in the gym, aren't you?
Yeah, basically in some like hole in the wall gym in Brooklyn right now.
Man,
So
that's the life
yeah,
though, man.
nah, yeah, I love it, man. It's what I do here. It's like a rusty old like gym here, man. Just love it. It's all strong, man.
Yeah. We're definitely going to get into the strongman stuff. I definitely want to touch on that.
Oh,
But
definitely.
let's give the audience some perspective on like who you are. Like, where are you from? Like, what was your
I
upbringing
grew,
like, and how'd you get in the fire
so I
service?
grew up in Jersey, right outside of Staten Island, Woodbridge, New Jersey. My dad was a cop, growing up, but he was also a volunteer fireman. So like me and my brother had that background of like always going to the firehouse when we were younger, hanging out like all our parties were there growing up. Like we always hung out with dad there, and I just fell in love with it. And I became a volunteer. My brother became a volunteer, and I was 18 years old, and then 9/11 happened right as I became a volunteer. So having New York City, in your backyard, you see everything. It really brings like a perspective to like, wow, why did we really do what we do? And ever since then, I wanted to be a fireman. So what every Jersey kid does is we jump in a van. Someone's like, hey, listen, we're testing Philly, we're testing in Boston, we're testing down in Fairfax, we're going down to fucking Atlanta. So we all just jump in a car and just test. And I got really lucky, and I got New York City. I wanted New York, but I basically took other tests, knowing okay, I'll try it, but I wanted New York City, and it took me about 7 years, but I got it. I got lucky. So yeah, that's kind of what we did when we were younger. We just said, "Hey, Fairfax is testing," and like six guys got in a car. So that's why I love about the fire service, especially on the East Coast, because I have so many friends in the fire service because of that. Because we all grew up being volleys, and now like I have friends almost every major fire department in the country. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So you already kind of had the brotherhood thing going on before you even
Oh,
in like a paid
100%.
department.
Yeah. Yeah, like I see all my friends all the time. Like I just, we're getting old now, but it's like when we were younger, the stuff we used to do as volleys. But like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I kind of got the brotherhood early in life, and just to learn from it, and that's why I am today.
So you
I've been in New York City for the last 16 years. So I've
and
been
you
7 truck.
seven truck. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Midtown Manhattan. Yeah, love it there.
I know that
Uh,
was funny, man. You told me like anytime you're out in Manhattan, man, I got a couch for you
yeah,
to sleep on. I was like, bro,
that's
Manhattan, fancy.
love it. Yeah, well, I got lucky. I got a roommate that works with me too. So.
Yeah.
But that's what I love
Yeah.
about the brotherhood is that like we'll get into it, but like every St. Patty's Day, I invite people all around the country to come to my firehouse, and we have breakfast, and then we go to the bar next to the firehouse, have a couple drinks, and then they march in a parade with us, and like just to see the faces of everybody, like it's like wow, like marching down Fifth Avenue, and it's like they don't have that where they're from, and I give it to them, and I do it every year, so you get used to it. But like the brotherhood, I love that because like they all come. Like I had like 50 guys from San Diego this year, and like a couple guys from Bakerfield, and then LA County, and like all over the country. It was awesome. And that's what the brotherhood is to me. I want to show them a good time. Like, yeah, I'm a New York City fireman, but like you're also our brothers, and sisters, and it's a big community that I love. You know, uh,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
everybody that's not in the East Coast is definitely very envious of the tradition and brotherhood that you guys have out there because
100%. And it's like
yeah.
from Boston to like DC, like that is like the area of like fire department. Like that's like East Coast firefighting where it's like I'm not gonna knock anybody else because like I said, I come from a big city. So I do respect other guys that like ride with like 3 or 4 guys on a piece or like wildland fires, like all that stuff. I respect everybody. But yeah, it's a certain feeling to be an East Coast fireman and feel proud. Like a little, not a chip on your shoulder, but it's like, yeah, we're pretty badass here. But like I said, I respect everybody because it's firefighting is different all around the country. You know, like I can still, well, I want to get into it with you, but like I'm New York City. Like I learn, New York City way. But I also like picking up tips from other people around the country. And it's like you just put it in your resume, like, oh shit, like let me do that, let me do that. And it's a pretty cool concept, the brotherhood. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna get too deep into it, but I don't know if you know Amanda Marsh, from the Prescott 19.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I'm really good friends with her. And she came to New York with a bunch of smoke jumpers. And it was so weird. We were at the bar drinking, like busting each other's balls. That's what I love about the fire service too. We all bust each other's balls. So like
Mhm.
they're making fun of me because I'm a big guy and I can't be a smoke jumper. And they're the little guys, But like it was awesome how like I was in awe of them that they jump out of planes, like to go fight fires, and they like their tools are shovels, and like I'm just in awe of them. And then they're looking at me that I fight high rise fires.
Mhm.
So it's like pretty cool, like where we're all firefighters, but we all have different like aspects of firefighters, but we all respect each other and like are in awe of like what you do. Like California guys that do wildland, like I don't even know what that is, but I'm humping up 40, 50 flights of stairs to fight fires, or like I miss headers where now I go to the fire floor and it's like this. And, the door's charred, by it, but the hallway's clean. I miss like seeing it from like a mile away. Like, oh shit, boys, we got a job. Now it's like, where's the fire? Like, oh, it's in that door.
Yeah.
It's mind boggling. So that's a cool concept too, where it's like I feel like everybody around the country we fight fires different, but we're all still like a brotherhood. You know? So yeah.
Y No, it takes a lot of humility for that too, right? Because you
Oh
could
yeah.
just say, "I'm an FDNY guy," like, "We're the shit." Like, I don't need to
Yeah,
learn
and
anything from everybody else.
I guys do that, but like I don't. Young guys do. Like we all have done it. Like look at me, I'm FDNY now. I'm like I'm
Yeah.
older now, where it's like hey, come have a drink with me. And it's like they're in awe. Like no, I'm just a fireman, just like you, bro. I just got
Mhm.
lucky on a Saturday on a test. That is FDNY, just a big city at the time. We're all still brother, and that's why like I told you about my couch. Like I tell everybody, you're in Manhattan, you got a couch to stay on. It's a brotherhood, and I love that. I love that. And I go to California. One of my best friends is a Malibu fireman. I stay with him and jump in, on his couch. It's like, or I go to like Zog in San Diego. I go see him. Like, I got Turtle in like North Carolina, and I got Levi like everywhere in Denver. So it's
Mhm.
it's a fun group. It's like a brotherhood within a brotherhood.
Yeah,
And
that's one thing I preach a lot to people especially in my department because there's a lot of people that get into their fire organization, their fire department, and they think that's it. They think that's the fire service. But man, that's just one small little footprint in what the
yeah,
fire
man.
service is, man. Like you're talking about people all over the country, people that's the brotherhood to you. Guys in San
Yeah,
Diego, California, over it, different
yeah,
parts of the country. And it takes getting outside the walls of your organization to realize that, because you can
exactly. Because some guys don't.
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
we
some.
do.
I love the fact.
I have
You know,
knocked on the fact that I don't see a lot of FDNY guys outside of like the East Coast, because guys like me, suburban firefighter, I got to go to all these conferences and stuff to like recharge the batteries and get the brotherhood, and you guys got it every
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the kitchen table. Like I'll tell you right now. Like getting into that. Like I love the kitchen table. Like you see the stories on Instagram and like the old school guys telling about like getting your balls bucked, and like you're having a bad day, go to the kitchen table, and like that's 100% true. Um, that kitchen table, and what other job have you been at where it's like 9 o'clock? You're up, but you're still at the table till 10 o'clock because everybody's busting balls, having a good time. Like you don't
Mhm.
want to leave. It's a fun thing. Like when you walk into like a full kitchen and guys are going at each other, it's an amazing experience that nobody else has. And like I've seen guys like in small departments where it's like 2 or 3 guys working and they disappear, like, and
Yeah.
they wish they had that. Like I go and I have 11 guys at the table busting each other's balls, drinking coffee, having breakfast. Like it's a cool atmosphere. Sometimes it can be scary. Like if you mess up, you go in the kitchen, you're like, oh, it's my time, in the barrel. But like
Yeah.
it's part of. I think it's part of the brotherhood and tradition. Like you're gonna get your balls broke. It's fun. It's like I don't know. I love the kitchen table. Like it's one of my best parts in the fire service. And you're right, like tradition, like in the in New York City fire departments, like, you know, everybody's at the table. Where it's like you go somewhere else around the country and it's like you walk around the fire and there's like nobody around. So
Hmm.
like I don't know how I would do that because I've been blessed with having that like brotherhood and like tradition. I come from a really respected firehouse, so it's like, it's a pretty cool feeling, you know, to have that brotherhood.
Yeah, absolutely. We're scraping for that, and that's kind of the big thing with my platform is to focus on culture and things like that. Like you're talking about the kitchen table. Yeah, you might have messed up and you're gonna get your balls busted over at the kitchen table. But guess what? It's not some closed door meeting in an office where you gotta stand there and get yelled at. It's the boys busting your balls. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
take your licks like everybody
Take
else.
it like everybody
That,
does. Thick skin.
that's
That's
a
how you get thick skin.
Bro, that's accountability though in the fire service, man.
Yep.
It could be completely different where you mess up, everybody knows you messed up, and they talk shit behind your back, and you're just, sitting around waiting for someone to
Exactly.
come talk to you, and they don't.
Yeah. And then you
That's
tell every
that's
new
work.
guy, it's like, listen, it's your turn in the barrel because someone's gonna be there tomorrow. You're never gonna be the only guy. Like it's just rotating, but it's fun. But as you said too, it keeps you in check. Like you police each other.
Mhm.
You don't have to go to the bosses. You don't have to go to HR. Like we are HR. Like you do something, like we take care of it, like in the firehouse, in the kitchen. I love that. Like everything's like, we police each other. That's a good feeling. When
Yeah,
you know
man.
you messed up, like, oh shit, and you didn't, you'll never do it again. You know, that's why I think the time is like that kitchen table is awesome.
Yeah, man.
You know, After
Yeah, but
fires, your critique stuff, like it's just everything.
so would you say you weren't always like that though? Like the culture and all that stuff? Did you have a point in your career where you just kinda like a little egotistical hot dogging and just really into yourself, or were you always like, "No, this is the brotherhood?"
I was almost like, I mean, like when I was a real, really, really, really young fireman, like when I just got to New York, I'd come back to Jersey and be like, just look at me, like, well, like you humble yourself quick because the guys humble you. Like I
Okay.
never forget, I wore a t-shirt out to a bar once and someone found out and they fucking rode me. And I was just like, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna do that again. So like yeah, so like I was humbling. It is a humbling experience after a while because it's like people do look up to you. The fire service does look up to you when you're at FDNY. It's a big like thing to have on your shoulders, but like I told you before, it's like when they come see you and like in your class A's and like you have a drink with them or you like invite them to see the firehouse. It's like, oh wow, you're just like one of us.
Yeah.
We really are. We're just a bigger city with more manpower. I mean, yeah, we fight little like higher buildings and this and that, but like I feel like we're all together, and it really is humbling when like especially like I said, one of the things I think was humbling for me was I had like 2 years on the job and it was a double fatal with Philly, and me and a couple guys went to Philly for the funeral, and they were so kind and like gracious to have us there, and I was just like, wow, like I was just in Chicago for the kid that died that fell down the roof. Same thing.
Mm.
Chicago guys, like they took care of us. They showed us like where to go, what to do, where to get food, like, and that's why I was humbling. Like you wear that patch and like any patch, it's like wherever you go, they take like the family sees that you're there, and
Mhm.
it's like really humbling. Wow, like these guys made their way from New York to Chicago or like Boston or for a funeral, and it's like or the triple funeral in Baltimore. We had so many guys down there, like we busloads went down, and I think that's also the brotherhood too, where it's like they come to our funerals, we come to theirs, and it's like just one big brotherhood. And that's humbling to see that when someone comes up to you and it's like, thanks for coming. I'm like, why? Like, it's a funeral, but it's like, oh, you're from New York. Like, wow, like you really made, you made the trip here. And it's meaningful, you know. It really is. It's like, it shows you what the brotherhood can be. And, you know, also, like I said, it's like, I got 16 years on. I know it, guys gonna make fun of me time dropping, but like, you go somewhere and it's like, wow, like, you see how big the fire department got. But it goes into what I want to talk about with you with changing the fire service,
Mhm.
where, I mean, I might ruffle some feathers here, but if you got 1 to 5 years on this job, you shouldn't be on Instagram posting stuff. You shouldn't be like showing me how to fight fires. You should be learning how to fight fires or learning the traditions in a firehouse. And that's one thing I have a little bit of because I feel like I came out with Instagram like when it just happened. I didn't even know what Instagram was. Like I had to get an Instagram page like because Roof Force was like sponsoring my sandbags, and I was like, "What's Instagram?" I was like, at the time it was like Chief Miller. You had him fit to fight fire. He was on it. Um, like AJ from Fork and Hose. Like there was not that many like Instagram pages for fire service at the time. So now you look at it, everybody has a page about how to training tips and,
Mhm.
a day in the life of a fireman, this and that. And like, I forgot who it was the other day, and it blew my mind. Like, he he looks like he just got on the fire service, and he's showing me like a day in the life of his thing, and he's taking an ice bath on duty, and I'm like, how are you doing that? Like, I don't even do ODS or on duty shower. Like, I'm scared to fucking do that. You're in a full ice bath. I'm like, whoa. Like, yeah, I know. Like, we gotta change the fire service a little bit, but I think sometimes it's a little too extreme when these new kids are coming in and they want to be like, we're doing this. It's like, whoa. Like, for example, I got to the fire service. It was breakfast was always like everything was fried. It was whole milk, and you only used it for coffee. You didn't use it for cereal or anything else. Um, Guys smoked everywhere. Like it was, everything. Like I said, fried in butter. There was no fucking change. There's not. I mean, guys worked out, but now get used to be now, and that's like 16 years ago. So now, like little adapting, where it's like, okay, I got 8 different types of milk in the fridge now. I got guys that are vegan and guys that want to bake stuff instead of fry. So yes, the fire service is getting healthier and in a better shape. But I just think that as a young guy with all these Instagram pages, like learn the job first. Learn the job. And I'm not like yelling at people or anything, but it's just I think there's so much to learn in this job and traditions to learn before you want to post something about how to fight fires.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I look at this like guy's got 2 years on the job. He's like teaching this and like praying this, and I'm like, maybe learn the job first because like I feel like we're getting oversaturated with pages for like how to fight fires. Like they're like yeah, and like I said, don't get me wrong. I watch some of these pages. I'm like, oh, I can take that as a tip. I can do that. Like you had him on. He's a really good dude. Really good dude. The Williams Key.
Oh
So
yeah,
I kind of
forever.
I message him once in a while. I know who he is. So funny story. Like how I was a young guy. I was like, yo, we should get this for the rig. I told my senior man, I'm like, this thing looks awesome. So my senior man just smiles at me and goes, all right. 2 days later, there's one on the rig that he made from like
Oh
scrap metal. And I
shit.
was like, all right, I'm going to shut up now. I guess, I was a little humbled. Okay, we don't have to
Wow.
buy it. But you know what I'm saying? Like these guys, like they make fun of you, like, okay, watch this kid. And
Mhm.
then boom, I got one on the rig already. So I'm like, but I wanted one because I want to put my name on it. You know how it is. Like, and it works. But like, it's funny, like the senior guys are like, calm down. Like, we got our ways to do things. And it's like, oh, okay. So like, that's what I think of the fire service is like learn and then like open up about your experiences. If that makes any
Well,
sense.
no, well, bro, first I definitely have a response to that, but like I want to talk about the ice bath thing. I think it's funny because ice bath is like the craze, especially in Colorado, man. Because Colorado firefighters are all about like vegan, whole 30
Oh, I know. My
CrossFit,
buddy
all
Levi's outside Denver, and like
bro.
every guy looks
Yeah,
like they'd be in the calendar. I'm like,
dude. Yeah, for real. But we definitely had one where a guy was doing an ice bath, to the point where his limbs were numb, and then we got a call. So not
yeah.
only did he have to try to get dressed with, he couldn't feel his fingers, but we're like trying to get out the door, and he's dripping wet, trying to get dressed. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, yeah, like having an ODS, I was like, ooh, ooh, that's ballsy
Yeah.
because like you got to run. Like I said, you're cold, and like you got to run for fire, like a walk up. I'm not waiting for you. So it's like, but I
Yeah.
understand like the whole fitness in the firehouse, and I'm like, and that also goes to like, listen, I got a lot of friends that do fitness, and they're probably gonna yell at me for this, but like, I'm a big advocate on not really working out in the firehouse, like not
Okay.
100%. Like, I'm not gonna go heavy leg day, and I gotta walk up 20 flights of stairs,
Right.
or like I'm not gonna go outside and put my gear on, which we're gonna get into because that's a subject for me. I'm not putting gear on. I'm gonna go work out outside, like in the street pushing sleds because I want to be ready for when I gotta go. Like a well-rested fireman is a good fireman. And I
Yeah.
understand, like, yeah, you guys want to work out. I would love to work out on duty, which I do. I do like chest. I'll walk. I'll jump rope. I'll row, but I'm not going to go 100% because of the fact that I got to be ready. So like you see all these pictures of guys like working out at the firehouse, and like I get it, but I want to be 100% ready for when I got to go.
Mhm.
I'll go off duty. I'll come to Brooklyn where I'm at right now, and I'll work out. But I won't do anything heavy at work because of the fact that I know at an instant, like we got to go. Like I teach with O2X, and one of the teachers I teach with, he's really fucking awesome. He tells you this: football players, right? They train all week for Sunday. Sunday's their go time. When we go to work, our go time, we don't know when our go time is. You
Mhm.
don't know when that bell's going to go off, and you're ready to go. So like I feel like I want to be ready. So I see guys like working out, like CrossFit workouts, and I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, we gotta go. Like, you look exhausted already, and that's something I don't want to do. I feel like with time on, like, work out after work, before work. I mean, if you want to go heavy, like, don't. I'm not saying don't work out at work, but like, don't kill yourself because we still have a job to do.
Yeah, no
Or I see a
PRs.
lot of these videos of
Yeah.
guys like really like legit going at it. I'm like, damn, like that's good for you. I can't do it, you know. But that's a big thing with me. And then I don't know. I want your take on this. I want to see gear, working out in gear. That's a big. I fight this all the time with everybody.
Bro, so
What's your take on it?
obviously, so I got a lot of big influencers with that stuff now, with like Logan Broberg, Marcos Orozco, John
Yeah,
Spera.
I
So
know more.
but also where I come from, we don't get a ton of fires. And then with our trainings, we'll do like a quarterly training, structured, from the organization,
Yeah,
quarterly training where we're going up to the training center. Other than that, it's company officer dependent on if you're getting in gear and stuff like that. That's a whole nother topic. But for me, because of the environment that I am in, the departments and the calls that we run, my thing is don't let just like those quarterly trainings or an actual fire be the only times you get in your gear, because with the pack and all the tools and all the gear that we have, it's extremely uncomfortable. And if you're not and you're putting your mask on, the only time you put your mask on is when you're in an IDLH. And now that's your time to realize that you have claustrophobia because you haven't done it in a
I've
while.
seen it. I've seen it. Yep.
Right. That's my take on it, dude. I believe you got to get in gear um, every now and then, and there's a big push for it to be almost every shift. But I mean, even if it was like once a month or a couple times a week, get in your gear. Even if it's just training, but like be conditioned to operate
Well,
within your
that's
gear.
what I think is that. Not to cut you off, I think it is like you said, raise portable ladders, do farmer carries. Like you want to do sleds in your gear, or like advanced hose lines. Or like I see guys like deadlifting in it and like doing all these like mountain climbers and like I
Yeah.
get it, but like one for me, I can't afford a second set of gear to work out in, which some guys do. That's some
Mm.
guys like when I ask the people, they say to me, "Why I have my own set to work out in," which good for you because I can't afford it. Second, like I feel like you're right with all the cancers and carcinogens on our gear. Guys that take that stuff to like gyms and stuff, it's like, what are you doing? Like you're harming yourself and you're harming other people around you. Because like yeah, we watch our gear and everything, but like it's still on our gear.
Oh yeah, definitely
And,
don't
and
bring it
like
in the gym
and I feel
for
like
sure.
some movements that we do shouldn't be in gear. Like
Mm.
we should be squatting in gear, deadlifting. Like I don't understand. Like I get it's for the gram and stuff, and but like I said, raise portable ladders, advanced hose lines, do dummy drags, like sled pulls, pushes. That's the
Yeah.
kind of stuff, higher hits you want to do. I think you had it on, and I love it. I use it at the gym. I took an old face piece, and I have the blast mask.
Hmm.
That's something I use at the gym. I love that thing because it's like I can still be on air and control my breathing. And I use that thing like 4 times a week. So like that's how I train. I train without gear. I have a vest. I have the blast mask, and like I feel like that's how we should train because just being in gear, I think I don't know if it's like you're right, different. I'm in gear all the time. I'm in gear every tour. I'm in. I'm always wearing my gear. So it's
Hmm.
like I guess it's a little more biased, right, too, about me. But like I feel like there's other things you can do besides wear your gear and work out. I know a lot of guys do for the gram. A lot of guys do for like the 911 stair climbs. I get it, but like sometimes I think gear it shouldn't be for like working out, weightlifting.
Yeah, I think a lot
Cardio
of the
maybe, but like weightlifting,
well, I
like
was just about to say that the guys that I just mentioned, I don't ever think I've seen them doing squats with a rack with their gear. They're doing, like you said, like mountain climbers, jumping jacks,
yeah,
bear crawls, up downs or burpees or something like that. And that's more of
like
like the
pull up.
continuous movement, the endurance, and also building up that heat, that thermal layer of heat in your gear
Yeah.
and getting used to that. I think that's the biggest push. And that's
I get it. I just like I see guys do other stuff, and I'm like, here we
yeah.
go. I don't know, it's just I guess it's a big influencer thing guys want to do now. But that was always a pet peeve of mine, like watching guys work out in gear. I was just like, but it is. I mean, what it is. But you are right though. Like I see what you're coming from. Like I said, I'm seeing from a different aspect. I'm from New York City, where it's like I don't want to. We put on gear all the time. And it's like
Yeah.
it's fucking hot and muggy. Humidity over here. Not fun. You know. But
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying is like my organization, like we'll get like a couple fire alarms and maybe a structure fire like once a month or something like that. But then other than that, we're not. in our gear, and then, like I said, the training is crew dependent, and
Yeah,
if
like
the
I'm running
crew's
eight,
not
nine
getting
calls a day.
yeah, right. Yeah, man. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna get a
So,
lot of backlash from all my boys about training and gear and stuff because that's
hey,
that's
I've
definitely a
been
new thing.
I've been having that for the last 10 years. I speak my piece. I respect everybody, but I just have my opinion on what I think, and I just think it's good to debate it.
Yeah.
And like I know guys are gonna backlash it, they always do, but it's just a fun debate and it's a good debate to talk about. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be healthy, right?
Mhm.
Like you don't want to be overexerted, and then oh shit, now you're going down.
Yeah, it's definitely it's hard to argue for training and gear with, like, with the PFAS and all that, the DuPont, whatever, all that stuff that's in our gear and,
Yeah,
getting in there and sweating and all
that's the
that
only
stuff.
I worry about. Yeah, like all the carcinogens and like you said, all that stuff that's coming out now.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, but I see, like you said, I see the reason for it, but I also see, like I said, our gear's not good for us. We shouldn't be wearing the gear all the time.
Hmm.
So that's what I look at, and like that's what I like, learn from like up in math, like what's the math, like that big study with the cancer and the in the gear, and I was just like, oh shit, that made me think more, you know.
Yeah.
So like I said,
Yeah,
I'm
I
getting
forget
older, so
that.
I'm prone for all this shit.
Well, I'm pretty
You know,
excited about, FDIC, they had that blue bunker gear out there that had no
I saw
PFAS.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So hopefully that's a thing that's coming down the pipeline where
I hope so too. I mean, hopefully we see in our career, like I said, if I got 4 more years, I retire. I'm going to stay, but like, hopefully at the end of our career, we see more like, I want to see more like friendly firefighting stuff because it's like, I feel sometimes like we do our job and we're good at it, but we get broken and then it's like, oh, we got a brand new guy coming in. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'll get into it in a couple minutes, but like, I'll get into now. I had a stroke at work and, it was one of the scariest things I ever had. Like, I should have died. Like, the doctor said if I was home or I went to take a nap, I should have died. Like, I was sitting down. I woke up. I got up. We had a run. Fire alarm. I get off. The street's like moving, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" I was like, "This ain't up." I do what every typical dumb fireman does. We get back. I took Advil, chugged water. I was going to take a nap for like whatever. I just lay down. But then one of my guys was like, "Yo, you don't look good," and he stopped me. I sat down, and the rigs were spinning on each other. And I just like was like, "I'm not going to the hospital." We are pride. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
going to the hospital. I ain't fuck this. I'm gone. I'm going to take a nap. My blood pressure. Yeah, that's another thing. Don't let your probie take your blood pressure. The blood, my probie's blood pressure for me was 120 over 80.
Yeah, 120/80. Yep. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
my real blood pressure was 290 over 180.
Mm.
Yeah, so I got
Mm.
So they said we're calling ambulance for you. I started getting really hot. I was puking and like I was going in and out of consciousness, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die on the firehouse floor. I was like, this is the guy. Like, this is how I die. Like in my head, I'm like, wow, this is how I'm going. And I remember getting to the hospital and like the dizziness finally stopped. They gave me TPA and like they caught the plot. And I remember sitting in my room and I had 14 years on the time. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. So I had 14 years on, and I had like the citywide borough commander, Manhattan borough commander, my chief, all my guys in the room with me, fire marshals. I'm like, what's going on? And I remember the one fire marshal was like, oh my god, you might be getting 3 quarters. I mean, like you're going to walk duty like sick, and then like you never come back. So three
Oh,
quarters is like you retire. And I was sitting in my hospital room, and I was just like, fuck, I wasn't expecting like waking up this morning thinking, wow, I may never have this job again. And like it scared me because this is what I know how to do. I'm good at it. Like this is like my job. I've done this all my life. And that one instant could have been like, I didn't even care about
yeah.
like living or dying. Like that moment, it was just like, oh my god, I might not be a fireman anymore. And it was a scary, scary thing to think about. And that's why also too, like I work out now harder. I lost 45 pounds. Like it really jump started me and scared me because it's like I could have died. You know, I was like 345 pounds at the time. Like I was just, I'm trying to be big and strong, man. I was like, but then I realized I cut weight, I cut like drinking, all this stuff, and I'm down to 280 right now. But like it really scared me. Like wow, that your job can be like off like that. Like
Yeah.
you do all these podcasts or like you know people around the country and like, but within an instant you're done. And it was a scary, scary feeling. And that's why I like to promote like fitness now in the fire service because like what I went through, it was a scary moment. It's like wow, I'm sitting in a neuro ICU all by myself at night. Like I don't know if I'm a fireman tomorrow. Like, it almost got taken away from me. It was really really scary. Like that's why I'm glad where I'm at today. Like I always tell people get checked, make sure you take your medication. Uh, get your physical, like do all that stuff because you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the guys in my files, he just got his skin tested and he had, he almost got cancer in his skin. Like, we're getting older, like, and the stuff that we see, like, I think I forgot what the percentages are, but us getting cancer or other like illnesses are higher because of what we do, you know, and that goes back into like I'm gonna loop back into like training, where it was like back when I got on, like you took a feed, you never wore your mask for overhaul, like you were like you're like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're not a badass. Like, oh, like literally, I was told, take a feed to the door, put your mask on. Now we got guys masking up in the street. Like it's a whole new like ball game. Like you never cleaned your gear after fire. Now we're getting our hoods cleaned, we're getting our gear cleaned if we want. Like your helmet, like it was like a badge of honor. Now guys are like, it's a whole nother fire department because it
Mm-hmm.
is scary. Like all these like things, and like I always told myself now, like ever since the stroke and all that stuff, I put my mask on and like because I don't want to be the old guy telling war stories on oxygen in the playground with my like grandkid. I want to be able to live and like earn my pension and like and I always tell the guys like this. I have a guy in my firehouse, and he tells all the new guys when we get there. We have something called the department orders that come out every week, and it shows the guys that like passed away, and he shows every new guy. He goes, "Look when that guy got on, look when he retired, and look when he died. That guy
Oh yeah.
enjoyed 20 years of his pension or 15 years of his pension." Like, and I've been to funerals where it's like I've been to the guy's retirement party. 2 weeks later, I'm at his funeral. It's like he couldn't enjoy his retirement. Like, and that's why we have this job. We get on young, we can get out young if we want to. Like, and that's why, like, now I'm like, wow, I'm 40 years old. I got 4 more years if I want. Like, I want to, enjoy my retirement. So I take every chance right now to preserve my body, try to, do things like the right way at work and like not be a cowboy anymore and like eat healthy and like, all this stuff because you never know. Like tomorrow could be the day. And it's like, whoa, like it's great. It's scary.
Yeah, that's a crazy wake up call, man. I mean, uh, I had a friend that just went through a similar thing. Yeah, he's a firefighter down south, and same thing. He had like a TIA, I think, at his kid's baseball game, and it's the same
Yeah.
thing. He's like, man, but that's funny because he had the same thoughts, bro. It wasn't about life or death. It was like, I may not be
Job.
a firefighter tomorrow.
Scary.
Right?
It
Yeah,
goes through your head, bro. It's like, wow, like this is what I'm good at. This is what I know. This is like the brotherhood. And like they always say, like once you're retired, it's different than being still an active fireman. Like, yeah, you come back to the firehouse, you can sit at the table, but like you're not getting on the rig anymore. You're not like it's a different feeling.
hmm,
Like it's funny because it's like the fire service is always moving forward, and like once you retire, like you're there, and then it's gonna keep on going. You're just part of it, but like you're not relative anymore. It's like, whoa, a little
yeah.
scary.
It's crazy to hear you talk about like the cultural differences though too, right? Like washing your gear, your helmet being all charred up, and
Yeah,
wearing your mask. I mean, Mike Champo just put something out a little while ago because he
good
got,
dude, good dude,
yeah,
bro.
he's my fucking
Good
hero.
dude.
He is my hero. Met that dude in
He is an
Pensacola.
amazing guy. I love when I see him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he did his own little thing, right? His piece. So like the mask that he had to wear when he got diagnosed with like throat cancer or something.
Hmm.
And he said, it made me think about all the times where I probably should have been wearing my mask and I didn't.
Same way.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was in a fire and I looked at my junior guy. I was like, "Yo, what are you on air for?" He goes, "Well, it's free and I want it." I'm like, I can't argue with him. I was like, "Wow," and he's right. Like you're overhauling, you don't know what's in there, like that smoke and shit anymore. Yeah, you want to look cool, but it's like you're right. Like now, I'm like, you see all these guys. Like maybe I work with them. Maybe I'll put my mask on. Maybe I will take. So yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, but like Mike, you said, like he's like one of my idols. I've
Mhm.
known him for a long time and good dude. And like you see that, you're like, oh wow,
Mhm.
like all those guys, like Ray McCormick, all those guys are like Eric Roden, like all of them. They're amazing. Those are like my idols that I
Yeah,
look up to.
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
those are good. Like those are guys I listen to.
The first time I met Champ, I didn't even know who he was. I was down in Pensacola at a conference, and it was my first one, and everybody just kept pointing at him. "Oh, there's Uncle Ray, there's Ray McCormick, there's Mike Champ." I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know who those guys are. And they're like, "Oh yeah, they work FDNY." I'm like, "Cool, man." I did not.
No, I know.
It's
Yeah, I get it.
crazy. It's crazy, but unfortunate, and it's an unfortunate thing that that's the majority of the fire service that don't
Oh, yeah.
know who they are. Yeah.
Like I was teaching up in Maine somewhere, and some kid was like, "Mike Chample bought me a drink for my 21st birthday," and I'm like, okay, and like,
Yeah, that's normal. That's
and the
he
kid
does
was
that with
like,
everybody.
yeah, I was just like, yeah, he was like, yeah, I felt like bad because he like looked at me like a, but I was just like, okay, cool, like champ, I get it, but I get where he comes from, but it's like you work with the guys, you're like, and that's
Yeah.
cool too because I'll admit, one of my coolest things in the fire service and like being humble, but also being like still as like a same as you, like I love the fire service and like as a kid I was just like, I remember reading Urban Fire magazine. You remember that one? Urban
Yeah.
Firefighter?
Yeah. Urban
And
Firefly.
there was an article about a Camden fireman, like tatted up like this, like cool dude. And I remember I was like, wow, what an article and like what a good dude. Like, and I maybe had like 2 years in the fire service. And I was like, and it's crazy to not like right now, like Eric Roden, Chief Roden, Eric Roden, wrote the article, and I'm really good friends with him. And Gabe, which was the article about, I was teaching him in Camden, and I got to meet him. So it's like, oh my god, like I got to meet like two of these figures that I was like so fascinated by,
Hmm.
and now I know them by like by face and name, and like when like Chief Roden's in New York, I get a drink with him. Like it's crazy how like the fire service as you're a young kid, you get to know everybody, and it's like, and that's what's also like saying being humble, like just knowing everybody, and it's like, oh my god, I just got to like shake Gabe's hand, like from Camden, like guy, guy's fucking awesome. He's the reason. He's one of the reasons why I got neck tattoos. Like he's cool, and then you get to meet your idols, and it's like wow. Like
But
even like Ray McCormick, I knew him for a long time, and then like I work with Hit It Hard from the Yard a little bit. I don't know what that is. Like it's a it's a group that polices firemen, but like also or like, is a really good charity.
hmm.
And he's like our Jesus, we joke about. And then he was at FDIC and came to our party. I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm like, what the, So it was pretty cool, like to see like that because it is humbling too. Like these are your idols growing up, and like now you get to work with them. Like when I drive and there's some of these like captains I drive, and I'm like, oh my god, I get to drive you. Like you're like a legend on this job, and I'm driving you. Like what's going on?
Right.
Like I don't know if Captain Mitchell from 38 Truck, Doug Mitchell, he's in a big thing in the fire service. I used to drive him, and I'm like this is amazing. Like I used to read your books and stuff, and like so that's really really cool. That being like FDNY is that you get to run in with these guys. Like, you get
Yeah,
to see all these guys. Like I don't know if you remember Al Benjamin from Rescue One.
Rescue One.
Like I went to my first second alarm with him. He's like, "Come on, kid, let's go." And I'm like, "You're fucking Al Benjamin. Oh my god, like I'm going to fire with you. Like I follow you." And he's like, "Come on, kid, let's go." And I was like, "Yes, sir." So you get to see all these guys. It's pretty fucking cool.
But you know what I love, dude, is because there's that phrase of never meet your idols. But I don't think that's necessarily true in the fire service, man, because you meet these people and they're normal dudes. They're
Yep,
normal. You're
I
like,
love it.
man, you're my idol, you're my hero. I read this article, I read this book, and they're like, cool, man. Like, you want to get a beer? I'm just like,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. And you're starstruck, but they treat you like a regular dude. They're
Yeah.
normal.
Well, that's how it
And
was when I started the Bravest, the Bravest Strongman Club. I was at FDIC one day with a bunch of guys. We were working out, and these two kids had my shirt on, and they're like, "Yo, we can take a picture." And I'm like, "Why?" I say, I'm not thinking like, "Why do you want a picture with me?" I'm just me. And he goes, "No, you're the Brave." And I'm like, "All right," but like, I'm the same way. It's like, you guys want to get a beer? Like, I'm like, I'll take a picture with you, but like, why do you want a picture with me? Like, I'm just Billy, I'm just
yeah.
or Will. I'm just like, that's what I do, you
Hmm.
know. And I started it like just like to get more people on like the different fitness. So that's how like, I want to talk about that. How I got into the Bravest was,
Yeah.
um, we all have our downfall. Like when you get fat, and like I always said too in the fire service, like man, I got time on. You don't get big and fat overnight. It's a 2 to 3 pounds every year that you don't
Mm.
see. Why? We eat like shit. Well, not, we don't eat like shit. We eat good, but our portions are so big. Our sleep patterns suck, and we do drink. Like think about it. I'm getting promoted. We're grabbing a drink. You're having a baby, having a drink. You're getting divorced. We're having a drink. You had a shitty Tuesday day. We're getting a drink.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like the fire service, and also too is like I don't know how many firehouses you've been in, but there's a 24/7 bakery all the time. Because in New York, if you want parking, you got to knock your elbows. So like people drop off donuts and cakes and cookies. So 3 in the morning, that looks pretty fucking good. 4 in the morning, I'll have that other half. 5 in the morning, I'll have that brownie. And now you're like eating 4 or 5 different things in the night, and it's like, wow, why I gained weight. So I put on over 100 pounds in like 5 years, just because of like eating, drinking. Like in the city, it's just so much to do. And you guys see you on your lowest low. Never forget, phone on fire. I had a can, so I had to put my pants on. I get the door. I try to buckle my pants, can't do it. I'm like, what happened? Oh shit. I use a carabiner. Guy saw it and like, you fat fuck.
Whoa.
Oh, you shit, bitch, this and that. And I'm like, oh. So I was like, I need to change something here because I didn't like how I felt. And like, I feel like I have a goal in the fire service where I don't ever want to change my gear like for a size bigger. Because in pro school they usually give you a size bigger because you're gonna gain weight. But like, my goal is don't ever get a new set of pants. Class A's are different because they always fucking shrink. I don't know why, but Class A's are different. But I always said my bunker gear, I never wanted to change size. So I was like, I need to do something. So I do what every fucking fireman does, and everybody loves this one. Is I went to CrossFit. That lasted 10 seconds. I walked in, guys on their shirts off doing handstands and push-ups, crawling and burpees, and I'm like, this ain't for me. I'm sorry, but like, I get it. It's a good fucking exercise for people, but not for me. I'm 6'4", 280. Like, nope, not doing it. So then my ex-wife was like, got mad because she was trying to get in shape for our wedding and I didn't. But like, she went to a personal trainer that knew a guy where I'm at right now, Hans. She goes, tell your boy, your fiance, or whatever, husband looks big. You should come to this gym. So it was in Manhattan. I used to watch Strongman when I was younger. Like everybody does it during Christmas. You see them moving cars and like airplanes. You're like, that's pretty fucking cool. So I was like, I like doing stuff like that. So I met Hans. He had a gym in Manhattan, and I remember walking in. There's like these big dudes, rock metal playing everywhere, like people screaming. It was like testosterone in a room. I was like, wow. And I remember being so nervous, like looking at like the waiver, and he looked at me and goes, "If you want to get big, sign it." I'm like, "Yes, sir." Like, scared the shit out of me. And I felt like he pulled me to a workout. I got my ass kicked. Like, we did sandbag carries, we did farmers, we did log, we did deadlifts with chains. Like, we did everything, and I fell in love with it. I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." And then I kept on doing it. I lost the weight. I felt good. So with strongman, what I love about strongman is that you don't cut and bulk. You do it at the same time. It's like cutting and bulking at the same time. You're losing weight, but you're gaining muscle. It's like,
Mhm.
but then I found out, like doing things with Hans, is that it's functional fitness with strongman. What's the fire service? It's functional fitness. Like I said, think about like you're throwing a ladder. That's a single finger. Um, Farmer carriers are like carrying tools, chain drags, dummy drags, sandbags. It's all functional fitness that we do. It's all heavy cardio, but also strength. So I was like, it kind of applied to the fire service. And I was like, wow, this is going to be awesome. I would love to get some other firemen to do this. So I started the FDNY Bravest team. It was like 7 of us. We would go to Brooklyn. No, we would go to the in Manhattan. And then he got shut down because we were making too much noise upstairs. Like literally like, and we were dropping things like the sheetrock was falling on people. So he moved to Brooklyn where we're at now, and we could do whatever we want here. I love this gym. So I got into it and I was like, wow, I want to start competing. I see like all these shows like USS Strongman, National Strongman. So I remember my first show. I was so fucking nervous. And I remember I had an FDNY shirt on, and this kid comes up to me. He was a fireman, I think, in like Westchester, paid guy, uh, Eric. And he was like, yo, try doing this, try doing this. Here, I got this for you. And I was like, all because he was a fireman. I mean, strongmen help each other up, but he was a fireman. He knew I was nervous, and he got me. I got second place. It was like, wow, other firemen do this. It's like, how do I reach out to other firemen around the country? And I was thinking about how to do it. And then we had a seminar here for Eddie Hall, one of the world's strongest men. And my buddy Rick Smith, which I'm actually competing in his show in August, he came down from Maine and he was a fireman. And we were talking about, wow, you do strongman too? And I was like, there's got to be more of us. So I started the Bravest Strongman Club instead of FDNY. I said the Bravest, and we put it on Instagram and we reached out. And basically, how we started is there was no membership, there was no membership fees. It was like it was just a club of like anybody out there does strongman. I'll repost you. I'll show the world what we do. Or it's like, hey, listen, there's a show in Ohio. Anybody going to that show? I'll bring the tent, you bring the drinks, you bring like the tacky, you bring the chalk, and then like when you bring the beers, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we would all like put our stuff together and had a banner, and like we would all help each other. And just like how we talked about before in the beginning of the podcast, where it was like the brotherhood, how it's like, yo, you're from California, you're a fireman. Oh shit, what's up? We have something in common. So in strongman, same way. Oh, you're a fireman at the strongman. So do I. Let's get together and like let's do techniques. Let's like set up our own little base camp. So we always put out on our Instagram was like, hey, we got a show coming up. Who's going to this show? Who's going to that show? And like we would like split hotel rooms or like drive together and like it's pretty freaking cool. And that's how I started the Bravest, and it just got bigger. It just kind of went from like 4 or 5 fire guys showing like strongman that we do, like pulling fire trucks and ambulances or tire flips, and it kind of grew into what it is today, and even grew further because Arnold's, like the Arnold Sports Festival, they do World's Strongest Fireman now.
Oh,
So I was in Ohio competing in the World's Strongest Fireman, and it was like, oh my god, like a blast from the past because I'm like, I remember you, I remember you, I remember you, and like it was like a high school reunion. Like, so there's maybe right now 300 or 400 firemen around the country that do strongman, and I was so like on like in awe because like I thought me and these other guys are the only guys that do it, and like we're the OGs because like we're older now. But, like these young kids, I love seeing it. Like suddenly they're getting stronger, they're getting bigger, and I'm like, fuck yeah, because it's
oh yeah.
like I said, technology and like everything online. Like we used to like I remember talking to these couple of kids like, hey, who's got an iPod? Because we had no fucking cell phone reception. I want to listen to music because we're in a barn somewhere in like upstate New York lifting like rocks. And I'm like, I need music and no one had like service. Like that's how strongman started with me, was just like backyards and like parking lots or like in the woods somewhere by the lake and that's how you did your competition. Now I love that it's grown so big. Like there's competitions every day everywhere in the country. Like I got one next week here in Brooklyn. I got a following one in Connecticut at a Renaissance fair, and then we got one in Atlantic City on the boardwalk in October. So it's like the sport's getting so much bigger, and like right now, like the guys next door, like after this podcast, I got 3 or 4 firemen and EMS guys right now. We're learning how to do a lever deadlift, and it's like pretty cool. Like we're all doing it together, and we're like all training each other. And like I said, it's good for the job. And like I just judged strongest EMS for FDNY, and we've been doing it for Mike Toomey. He runs it. He does strong with me. He's really good. He started with 5 guys, and they had 50 people this year. So it's just getting bigger, and I love the fact what we do is like we try to promote strongman. Just also too is like if you don't want to do CrossFit, there's another avenue of fitness for the fire service. Just give it a try. Like there's not. I mean, we all make fun of cardio, but like we do cardio. We do like heavy cardio. We're just lifting big things, putting them down. Or it's also functional fitness. And like I want to show also too, if I can like slide into it where it's like, I don't ever want a big guy in the fire service to be like, that's it, I'm done. I'm only big. I can't get back in shape. And I'm like, no, you can. I did. Don't think like, oh, I'm older. I'm a senior guy. There's techniques like, no, you can always be in shape. You always come back. And like I had a fight. I was teaching up in Maine. No, in Boston. No, I'm right outside Boston. And I had a debate with this bigger guy, and like he was a senior guy, and then a recliner. Like it looked like he was like the guy that was gonna be a problem. So I started doing my spiel, talking, and like he was just like, I don't need this. I drive. I'm like, oh, you drive? Okay. What do you drive? He goes, I drive the aerial, like the stick outside. I'm like, all right. So you're at the pedestal. Great. What happens if I go in? I have a child, and I get that child to the window, and I need you to come get him. Are you gonna run up that ladder? He's like, exactly. You still have a job to do. And like how we are too, like in New York, how it's like we run 6 on a truck, which I know is crazy because we're the only ones that do it, but we're all a team, right? And like if you mess up that we're not part of that team, like you're destroying it. Like for example, for us, that in New York, it's like OV, inside team, roof, chauffeur. Like everybody has a job to do, and you have to do your job in order to get done. And if you don't pull your weight, you're not part of the team. So even if you have 16, 17, 20 years, 30 years, you're still part of that team. You're active. Like you have to be part of that. And that's why I tell guys like it's hard, but you can get back in shape. It's not going to happen overnight. Just like when you gain a little weight, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over the years. But if you take a simple step, like even like I told like my senior man, he hated couscous. He didn't even know what couscous was. And then we snuck it into his meal, and he was like, "This is awesome." But now it's just like one little small step for him. So instead of eating like shitty stuff, we start making healthy meals. Or it was like, I hate saying it, but like sometimes we'll put turkey bacon on the table, or like I said, I told you before, like I love guys that bake stuff now because it's just the little things in a fire service, like the 1% makes you better, like O2X does, is like something will help you. Like there's always time for change. I feel because like I hate guys that are like, no, I can't. Well, you can. You just gotta push a little bit, and that's why I said I love when I see like guys in the gym. I'm like, all right, we got this going. Like I love seeing like a healthy house, and that's what we are now. And that goes back to what I told you about like there you can change the fire service, but it's not going to happen overnight. Like don't, and I always say, don't come in as a junior fireman thinking I'm going to change good luck, buddy, because guys before you, they're not going to have it.
Right.
You know, and that's why I told you before. Like, I'm gonna piggyback back on like these sites on Instagram. Like, oh, we should make change in the fire service. Yeah, we should, but it's gonna take time. It takes time. Like I said, nobody smokes in my firehouse anymore. Like, guys are drinking healthier stuff. You know, we don't eat big things a lot. We're doing more vegetables. We're doing portion control, and it's better life because you do have younger guys. You know, but like I said, don't come in like and just go like
Yeah.
learn. You gotta learn
Well,
traditional.
and
And that's
what?
another thing I feel like tradition's dying. Where it's like you
Well,
want to keep tradition alive, especially I'm not like I came to a house where I lost everyone in the truck that died. Everybody died on that day in our house. You know, so it's like I come from like I got big shoes to fill. You know, I like you see the family members, you see all that stuff. It's like, wow, you want to keep that tradition of them, what they did alive. You don't want to mess up. Like I always tell people, it's not like, oh, Billy fucked up or you messed up. It's oh, that guy from Seven. You see what he did? You gotta have pride in the house. Like when you're working, you're Seven truck. You make a grab, the guy from Seven made a grab, awesome. Or oh, that guy messed up from Seven. It's always you gotta, you know, it's always about pride in the house and make it. You gotta make the house look good because the guys before you. And like I said, we have bigger shoes to fill because the guys that before me died, 9/11. So like, you gotta keep their traditions alive too. That's a big thing for me. Like those guys, like you gotta respect all those guys. Like every new guy comes in the house, you gotta remember, you gotta know all their names and what they have position and where they were, all that stuff. So like that to me, like tradition, you gotta keep that alive. You know, and like fire service, like 9/11, like never forget. I feel like some people do forget sometimes.
oh
Like
yeah.
especially outside New York, but like New York, you'll never forget. Like it's in every firehouse, but like I do feel people forget, and like you got to keep that tradition alive. These young guys coming in, they got to learn about the fire service and what happened and what like guys before them. You know, like make the house better, but like keep everything traditional. Oh,
Yeah, I think for a lot of kids now coming up that were born after 9/11,
right? How
it's like
crazy is that?
It's like Pearl Harbor to people, you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, it's something that happened once that was tragic, but I wasn't around for it, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But
Or you get like the kids. Okay, what?
going back to your getting back in shape, right? Say you're a bigger dude, right? Like you said, like you're what 6'4", 280 right now?
6'4", 280, yeah.
6'4", 280. So yeah, I can't imagine CrossFit being the best fit for those guys, and it also is a little intimidating, right? Going in and seeing these like
My
five
back
foot
half
ten
is
dudes
like,
all jacked. Yeah.
so
So
I'm like, I got a beer belly. Like, what do I do?
so if these dudes, if these bigger guys want to look into strongman, like where do they look, and what does day one look like for them?
Listen, like I said, you can come to the Bravest Strongman Club on our site and just ask for tips. Rick Smith, he runs a strongman thing up in Maine. Like his I think it's Smith Fitness, but he does a lot of it. Look at the World's Strongest Fireman page, and just grab one of us, and not all of us will be like, hey, listen, we'll either get you a trainer or I'll help you out. Basically, the first thing is you're gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt because you're gonna activate muscles and things you haven't done in a long time. Like I did sandbag carry from like a stool, just 100-pound sandbag carry from a stool was one of my first runs, and I felt like I was gonna die. You're gonna feel like you're gonna die when you start this, but like you also find a gym or like a guy that knows what to do because a lot of it is technique. For example, you do a log, right? A log is heavy weight. You need to roll it up your body, close to your body. In CrossFit, they clean and jerk is away from the body. So there's a lot of things different in strongman that you need to learn. But like I said, either come to our site, we'll show you other people to go to. Once you learn technique, it's just so much fun because it's tire flips, it's chain drags, you're pulling. I mean, how cool is it to pull an ambulance? Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Like, it's fun.
Oh yeah.
But like I said, I will never knock CrossFit. I used to as a joke, and I still do. I'll joke it, but like certain people's body, it's good for them.
Hmm.
Like if you're like faster, younger, or like smaller abs, like cardio, have fun with CrossFit because that's some kind of fitness for the fire service. We're just trying to show you another avenue of fitness that if you can't do, it's like, oh, I can't do it, I'm done. Oh my God. No, do strongman because it helps too. You're losing weight, you're gaining muscle, and you're moving like the fire service. So like I want to just show different avenues, like people that do like CrossFit or I do like triathlons. Like, yeah, there's so many different avenues of fitness. We're just one, for bigger guys, I feel. Or even small, anybody wants to do it, but I feel if you're a bigger guy, it's better for you because you're thinking, I hate saying it, but it's like, well, more manly. You're like, I'm moving like 450-pound tire. Like, yeah, you are, but you're also getting in shape. You're also, strength conditioning, functional fitness, cardio, and like you're getting bigger. You're losing weight. So it's like, that's why we preach strongman in the fire service.
I love that
And
you're
that's why
saying all
mom
that
stopped.
too. I love you saying that about the cardio and the functional fitness of it because initially when I think strongman, right, I think of like the guys throwing around big Atlas balls and stuff like that, and then they're smoked and they're done. But you're saying
Yeah.
you can be a strongman, but you're also doing functional type stuff
Yeah.
for the
So think
job.
think about like
Yeah.
so I promoted a lot of times. I promoted hero division and strongman because the problem with strongman is that you do novice, which are lightweight but more cardio, and then once you go heavyweight, it's like yeah, 1 rep at 300 and you're done. But with like hero division was instead of doing a 300-pound log lift, you're doing a 200-pound log lift, but you're doing 200 for 12 reps. Now you're doing 212 reps of cleaning, pressing a log. That's so much cardio in a minute. Like that's how you get your cardio. So what I like to do is like today I did like light legs, but I did tire flips. I did 40 tire flips at 450 with a minute rest in between five, 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 five with a minute. And that was my cardio for today. And you feel it because
Yeah.
it's real cardio.
Oh
Or
yeah.
like I said, farmer walk. Even if you can't have farmers like in a strongman, get fat grips, put them on a dumbbell, and walk for 10 minutes on a treadmill and hold them. There's your cardio. So like big guys, like they always say, "Oh, running and hit your knees." Yeah, but you do some of this stuff. Stones. You take a 190-pound stone, lift it up for a minute straight. There's your cardio. So there's all different types of cardio, and that's just
Yeah.
one type of cardio I like about strongman is that you're also lifting something heavy, which is you're getting strength, but you're also doing cardio at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful,
that's
man.
kind of like why we like want to like promote it in the fire service.
Yeah.
Because you're wearing all your gear and you have like think you're walking upstairs with your gear and your tools. That's cardio and almost strength. You know,
Yeah, I'd like
that's
to
what we
see it
do.
pushed more in the fire service because, there's definitely currently that push of like CrossFit, endurance,
Hmm.
uh, fast, like all this kind of stuff. That's the current push for most of the fire service, but it makes big guys feel insecure about themselves. Where,
That's why I went. I was like, in 10 minutes, I was like, I ain't doing this. Like, are you
yeah,
kidding me? I can barely do a pull up at the time. And I'm like, what am I doing here?
yeah,
And yeah, it's just your pride. It's more about pride. And I walked in, I'm like, oh, there's hot girls here. I can't do a pull up in front of them. What am I doing here? But like, you come to strongman, and I'm doing an 800-pound tire, but you're doing a 450 tire. It's still 450 pounds you're flipping.
yeah.
Pretty badass.
Bro, that makes sense. I think that message needs to get pushed for the bigger guys to be like, "Hey, look, you're the big guy. Like you're the guy that on a real call, you're going to be forcing the doors and doing all this crazy
Mhm.
like heavy stuff and that's what we're going to lean on you for because you're built that way and we want you to embrace that instead of being
Yeah, like
like,
guys make fun of me. That's fun. Like when I first started strongman, like everybody thought they make fun of you. But like maybe like a year ago, I remember we had the cops were like by this manhole, and a manhole cover came off, and I walked off the rig. I picked it up in front of the cop and I put it down. The cop's like, "Yeah, I'm going back to my car." Like I was a big guy. They make fun of me. Like, or we got to push a car in the FDR. They like the boss is like, "Billy, push the car." So it's funny, but like yeah, it helps in your job. Like I said, we got to push a car 50 feet off the drive. That's what I do. So I get all excited for this stuff.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, you got to raise a 35 footer. I got it. you know? So it does, like, big guys have a part in the fire service. You're right.
Yeah.
Blow through that
Yeah.
door. Let's go. But
Yeah,
with
like
cardio, now the door's on the fourth floor. I can still get to that fourth floor and blow that door because of the
yeah,
fact that there's cardio with strongman.
it just makes sense to embrace the body type, you know what I mean? Like if you and I
Yeah,
are on a call, I'm probably going to be the one going through the window and you just throw my ass through it and
exactly.
that's that's how
But
we would
then also it's
operate.
like we find the body. I'm going to drag that body.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know. But like or like the Denver drill, I'm the guy that's going to push that guy out the window.
Mhm.
And that's why, like I said, I love that there's so many like I do love that there's so many other fitness like Instagrams, like I said, fit for fire, all this stuff out there, and like it's great because it does give hope for the fire service. If no one knows, they can go online like, oh, what's he doing? What's they're doing? What are they doing? And that's why they come to us and they see videos or like also said we joke about it. We do like memes too about fire service stuff, but they see like guys doing different types of lifts, and it's like DM me, and I'm like, hey, how do I get into it? So I'm like, where do you live? We'll look for a gym for you. We'll see if any firemen around there that know, like, hey, listen, I got this guy who wants to do this. And then I reach out to like the firemen from around the country, like, this guy does it, this guy does it. And like, hey, you talk to him, find his gym, and then they get into it. And
Or,
that's why we started the Bravest, just to like give guys an avenue to go to.
or even
That
like you
like they
said, bro,
does.
if there's an event out by you, they hit you up. I
Yeah,
got a couch to sleep on.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing that in Maine. My buddy from Fire Athlete, Matt, he's coming. He's flying out to New York, and then we're gonna go up to Maine for our buddy's Roots and Brute Strongman event. And he's a Phoenix fireman, and like he's coming out to see us, and he's gonna compete with us, and it's awesome. Or like I said, when we went down, we did World's Strongest Fireman at the Arnold. There was like 30 firemen from around the world that were all just hanging out, having a good time, talking. Like it was like a firehouse, but we're all lifting. It was awesome, and that's where like I felt like my dream came true. Where it's like I started this like little thing, and then I found them, and then like Arnold loves firemen, and then the World's Strongest Fireman just blew up, and it was just this huge event, and I'm sitting there going like goosebumps because I'm like, this is what I wanted. Like this is what I wanted to be. I want to find other firefighters and like female firefighters like they do this, and it's fucking badass that there's so many of us that do this now. Like a brotherhood within a brotherhood, you know. And that's why I love what we do. Like
Mhm.
it's just we send a good message. Like I said, you're big. You want to find a way to get in shape? Come see us, and like we'll work with you because like I want to see you succeed in the fire service. Like I don't ever want to not see anybody succeed.
Yeah.
Everybody like you know to make it. Because like I said before, like I said, I had a scare. Your buddy had a scare, and it's like, whoa! I don't want anybody to go through that. I want everybody to retire on their own terms. It's not going to happen, but I would love for everybody to, you know,
Well,
and
and you
that's
want
what we're
them to
trying to strive
enjoy the
for.
retirement, right? We don't want
Yes,
you to
and
retire and then a year later we're at your funeral. Yeah.
exactly. And like I said, I've been there before. It's not fun. You
Yeah.
drink with a guy a year ago, and that's like you're drinking at his funeral. It's like, wow.
I think statistically, like the average years is 5 years after a firefighter retires.
How scary is that, man?
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Like I said, I'm 40. I had stroke. I am, I sleep apnea. I'm on high blood pressure pills. I'm on fucking. I broke bones, burns, bruises, like trauma. I still love this job, but like when you're 24 years old, you feel like Superman. You run through that wall. Now there's times like you're in the bunk and it's like your fifth call after midnight. You roll over like, what am I doing? Your whole body hurts. You're like, what is going on here?
Uh,
Like, yeah, this job's for a young person, but yeah, if you keep in shape, and I feel like mentally and physically it helps you, and you can get through the job. You can do your 20 years or 25 years and out, but like, yeah, you're not young anymore. Like I remember I used to bounce, so I would get off the firehouse, I would go bounce at a bar, go drink it for a little bit, sleep for 3 hours, and go back to work. Now I need 8 hours of sleep. Like I'm in bed by 10 o'clock at home, like watching a movie, going, it's time for bed. And yeah, I can't do those days anymore. But like, it's a young person's job. But like, there's ways to keep it like I said going. Like I feel good. Like I work out now. Once I drop all that weight, it felt amazing. Like your gear fit, it's just mentally your gear fits better. The job's
yeah.
fun again because like I remember we had a phone alone and I had the OV. I had to go through the basement, bust some doors, get out, saw the fire, and I'm like, my cardio was good. I wasn't breathing heavy. I was like, this is fun again. I broke through two doors and I found the fire. Like this job's fun. Like
Mhm.
it's not like you feel sluggish, like, oh, I don't want to move, like I don't want this. You want to go to work and like be like ready to go. So like I said, I don't like I got rules now. Like I don't drink before work anymore. Like the night before I don't drink. I try to eat healthy at home, like because I eat shitty at work.
Mhm.
So at home, I try not to have any sweets or like fast food, like when I'm competing. So like it kind of balances it out. Kind of what I love about it is like, yeah,
Bro,
you
it's
feel
tough.
better.
Like,
Like oh, ice
well, you
cream.
talked
Everybody has an
about,
ice cream freezer at
yeah,
work.
yeah,
We all do. Like every fly. I don't care. I don't care
yeah,
how good looking you guys are and like in abs and this and that. Everybody has an ice cream freezer.
yeah.
Sorry, it's just I've seen it.
Well, you talked about like the bakery, right? We definitely have a couple firehouses where people just repeatedly bring over baked goods, and like you said, it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm
You're just
supposed to be
picking.
asleep, and I'm not. So now I need something to comfort me. Well, this
Mm-hmm.
brownie is very comforting for me right now, so I'm gonna eat
Right?
it.
Everyone or like when I teach, I always say the joke, and every fireman does it. Like I've done it plenty of times. You see the box of donuts, right? You're like, I'm gonna feel good about myself. You cut half of it, and then 10 minutes later, you eat the other half. Like just eat the whole donut. Like everybody does it. Like we have a joke. There's like my weakness is coconut donuts.
Mm,
And anybody that drops off donuts from Dunkin' Donuts or something, there's a coconut one. There's two other guys in the firehouse that like it. So basically, I close it for 10 minutes. I go look at the rig or I go somewhere else, and if it's gone, thank God. Or if not, I'm eating it. Like I see those other two guys, like, go to the kitchen because they'll eat it for me. It's like funny, like it's a joke. But yeah, you're right. Like, but it just they always say, right? When you put the uniform on, two things happen: you get hungry, you get tired.
Mm.
You know, when you go to work, you put your uniform on. Those two things always happen. And then, like, you're right. I'll be in the firehouse and it's a slow day, and you're like, you're just picking at food.
Yeah.
Well, what's that in the fridge? I'll have a pork chop. Then you're having chicken. Then you're eating rice with steak. And then you're having a donut. And there's a bag of chips. And then you're having a cookie. And you're like 4,000 calories later, going, what the hell happened?
I like how we justify it too. Be like, well, if I don't eat it, it's just gonna sit here and go stale. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna eat it so it doesn't get wasted.
Or it's like, oh, I'm 2 calls on my car. You know, I gotta burn some calories and I'll be fine. Like I'm not just sitting down. And like, no, you're still eating 4,000 calories. It doesn't.
Yeah, bro.
No, I'll put gear on. I'm gonna go up the stairs and it's like 5 calories. No, you just eat it. But it's just there. You always pick and you tell yourself not to. And it's like, or you go and like my weakness too is like chocolate mousse cake. And you're like, you're having a fun time. You go to the gym, come to the firehouse, ready to go, and there's a chocolate mousse cake. You're like, gotta eat it.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm like trying to get away from too, but it's hard. That's why I work out, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's crazy how guys will protect that shit too. Because we have a thing where if guys come in and work over, we run 48.96 where we're at.
Okay.
So if guys come in and work at 24, usually the tradition is guys will buy a dessert or something like that for the crew because it's like, hey, I'm here all day, 24. I'm getting paid
Yeah.
time and a half for 24 hours. It's a lot of money, so I'll buy a dessert. Well, I put out a survey because I'm on like this like wellness committee, and I put out a survey that said, "What do you guys think about changing the overtime reward from a dessert to like some type of charity fund or something like that?" And the reaction from the guys, how like appalled they were. I can't even get guys to do a survey for anything. But then I talk about taking away the
Oh,
dessert.
no,
Oh, they lost their minds. Yeah, people don't
I
don't
can see that.
don't mess with people's dessert.
No, like we do overtime fund where you get overtime. It's $10 into your overtime fund, and it goes to
O-
like stuff you need for the house.
Okay,
But
that's what
like,
I was
but
trying
we
to
do.
push.
Yeah, no, it's great because like they pays like we do our picnic and stuff. But like things are like we have a problem is that we're in the city, so we're next to the hospitals and all the bars. So people park by our firehouse, and like tradition is knock with your elbows. So
Hmm.
people drop off cakes and cookies, and like they make funny like Glenn says "fuck you" like Entenmann, but everybody loves Entenmann. So like we get so many cakes. Same thing, you come down like oh, or a pro comes and drops off his cakes. Now you have like a new guy with like 10 different
Yep.
cakes. You're like, shoot, fine now. Like, yeah, dude, it's funny.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
We talked a little bit. I want to touch back on it with tradition, right? And especially in New York, right? With the traditions that you guys have in place. Like you mentioned, the guys in your house, they all died at 9/11, right? You had big shoes to fill.
mm-hmm.
And so you talked about like the new guys trying to implement change and there's a time for it. So I wanted to ask you, like, in where you're at, like what classifies a senior guy and like how do you implement change necessarily? And you know,
I feel like you got your so it's like your top four guys or your senior guys that drive. So the four guys in the chauffeur spots are like your senior men, and then it's like comes to like me, another guy, me. We're like right after them, and then it's like almost like middle management guys that have like 10 years on, and then any other. I think so. It's 1 to 5. You're a mop. Like I always say, like the hardest year in the fire service is your second year because you're off probation, but you're still kind of a probie. You just
Mhm.
get to go home a little earlier, and like you're still probie. Like you're not, but you're a junior guy. So I think 1 to 5 is kind of like a listen, learn, take notes. Like if you want to do something, do it yourself. Like don't come to five like we're doing this with 5 years. I'm gonna tell you fuck all. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like change happens like in like the middle management kind of part of it where it's like, all right, we should do this, we should do that. Ask the senior guy. Like I told you with the Williams key. I was
Mhm.
like, yo, this thing looks cool. I got time on. And he's like, he smiled at me. He's like, hold on. You're the senior man. He made one. So it was like, guess we're not getting one. So it's like, that's how I think it goes with change. But like, I just see
Yeah.
change over time, just over time in the whole fire service. But like I said, it's getting healthier. Um, like the traditions, like you're a junior man, you're not like, you're not in the bunk by 12. You don't go to sleep till 12 and then you're out by 7.
Shit.
Like, 1 to 5 years, like you're not in the bunker before 12 o'clock. Some houses 10 years before you're in the like you're not allowed in the TV room until like you have 5 years on.
Wow.
You know, like sit in the kitchen, do your book. Like, yeah, so like that's kind of like tradition where it's like And I was always traditional like the older guys. And I know guys will fight it where it's like, oh, you need your sleep, you need to go early. No, it's just tradition. That's what we do. I know change all that stuff, but like you want to keep traditions alive because the same thing is that I like it sometimes when guys don't go to bed early right after dinner because, you know, same thing. We'll sit at the kitchen table. You know, and also too is like guys, I love guys that talk about the past, the guys I didn't work with. You know, the guys before me, like they talk about stories and like all this stuff. And it's great hearing about it. So you sitting at the kitchen table brings a bond. Not even in the morning, like but even at night, like guys are like playing cards or like hanging out, like movies on, or like just talking about bullshit about life and like everything. It's fun. It's like a big family dinner. And that's what I love about it. Like tradition. That's why guys don't go to bed at 10 o'clock. You know, because I don't want it to be where it's like you cook, we eat, we clean, and we're to bed. It's hanging out, have a good time. It's fun. It's part of the job. Like, and that's why I said I love the fact that I'm in a bigger firehouse where guys do hang out. I mean, like relax, and, like bullshit with each other. I mean, it's just tradition, and that's why I don't want to keep on. But like, I also believe like tradition. Like, you have 1 to 5 years in a fire. You want to keep your mask on, keep your mask on. That's what you learn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like you got 2 years on. You want to keep your mask on overhaul. I'm not stopping you. I might start doing it now too. You know, like I said, things are burning there. They're not burning when we were used to it. Like, look at all these things like now. The e-bike fires. That smoke is nasty for you. I'm masking up the whole fire.
Yeah.
You know, where it's not like it used to be just content where you're like, oh, I can like, put it over my nose, That's what I used to do. And I look at the kid next to me, I'm like, yo, what are your mask on for? It's not even smoky. Like, put your hood on. Nah, I don't do that anymore. Like, you want to keep your mask on, keep your mask on. Like, there's no like all over me anymore. Like because these fires, these smokes are getting bad. Like, we don't know what's in this shit anymore. So it's
Yeah.
like, put your mask on. Like car fires, I never put my mask on. I never even wear my mask on. Now it's these, you don't know what's in these cars. Maybe I'll put my mask on. Or it's like the big debate on like, oh, I'm on a roof, I took my mask off, and then you see like the comments, are you not? Why's your mask on? You can fall through. You're not an IDLH, and I'm like, oh my god, like, so many Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where I stay. I try to stay out of it. I will go back at once in a while. I'll try to stay out of it because like then my job's different than yours. Like, because then it looks like I'm a bully. Like, oh, where do you work? Oh, you don't
Yeah.
go to fires, and that's like, oh, who's the bully now? And I'm just trying to be like, wait, this is what I do, and that's a lot of times. And I learned about too, like when I got a little older, is to not go after everybody. I used to go after everybody. Like, who are you? What do you think you are? Where are you from? Now I'm like, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
You want to make a comment about something I did? You want to make a comment about my tactics? Go ahead. I don't care anymore. Because it used to drive me nuts. Like, who do you think you are? Now I'm like, what? Because you're just going to go down a rabbit hole with somebody and it's just, you're going to lose. So just be the bigger person and not even like, because they want to get aroused out of you. That's what I learned.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's like a famous quote with that, right? It's like, I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's like, never argue with stupid people because they'll beat you with time and
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
Something like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I'm looking at him like this guy's like Monday morning calendar. Like I was at that fire and I'm like, I'm the guy on the roof and I'm like, I'm like, nope, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Just move the fuck on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I do now. I just, But yeah, getting back to what you're saying is I feel like when you're new to firehouse, learn everybody, learn the traditions of the firehouse, learn the ways of the firehouse because they always say when you go to probie school, it's only like 25% of your knowledge. When you get out in the field, that's when you're gonna learn from the guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna learn from the guys what to do. I always said that, like, for example, roof ropes. You learn one way to do a roof rope in the academy, you learn our way when you get out. You know? And like just learn. Don't try to like come in and be like, well, let's try to do this. No, this is why we do what we do because we know what we're doing. You know, down the
Yeah.
road, if you want to try something new, try something new. And like the first five, I say, if I feel like the first 5 years, you're gonna learn. There's so much to learn in the fire service. There's always learning. There's always new things, especially in New York City. All these fucking buildings we have. Class two slither, rear tenements. H types, old law, new law. Like so much to learn. That you shouldn't be worrying about like ice baths and like all fitting. Like you should be learning the job. You know. Like I said, that video still bothers me. Like, I don't know how the hell you're in an ice bath on duty. It blows my mind.
Oh man.
I'm like,
But
oh my god.
what's
Like I said,
crazy, man.
I'm afraid to take a shit.
Bro-
Like, that's like one of the best feelings in the world is when you go off duty, you have to go to the bathroom, you're like, oh, like, and these guys are taking ice baths. I'm like, I'm in the bathroom, like, ready to wrap like one hand with toilet paper, like ready to go because it's gonna come in as a phone alarm as your shit. And like, that's my worst fear. Like, not even missing a room sleeping, like, and you're in the bathroom, you're like, oh no. And we've all been there. Where it's
Bro,
like, oh.
Just listening to you though, dude, it gives so much perspective. Like for anybody that listens to this, that's not FDNY or like some of the big East Coast fire departments, right? Because a lot of us, our senior men are not any more than 5 to 7 years on now. There's such a
Really?
huge gap. Yeah.
All
I
my
hit,
senior guys are 20 plus years.
yeah, that's wild.
And
Because like,
yeah, my five senior guys are 20 plus, and then it's a guy next to me has 17 years, and I have 16. Yeah,
yeah, I
I'm not
got
even a
nine
senior
years
guy.
because I did
Yeah.
10 years. I did 10 years military right out of high school and then
Oh,
joined
nice.
right in. So I got 9 years in my department.
Yeah.
And I think last year I was talking to somebody. They're like, "Oh, how many years you got on?" I was like, "Oh, 8." And they're like, "Oh, so you're a senior firefighter?" I'm like, "No, hell no."
So
But
it's like when I
then,
have 16, like I feel like I am, but like I'm nowhere. 20 plus is a senior guy in our house.
yeah,
But like it is good. But there are some houses, our houses, I was like guy with 10 years is like the senior man. I'm lucky enough to be in a good truck where all my senior guys are 20 plus years. Like my senior guy is almost pushing 30 years.
that's wild.
So it's like, yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like 30 years, 27, 25, and like two guys that hit like 21, 20. So it's sometimes the back step is like over 100 years on the rig. It's awesome. And when you have like an older crew, it's great.
That is pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to come out there, man, and check it out for
Please,
myself.
you're more than welcome, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm due. I need to get a slice of pizza and come out there and hang out.
Well, let's do John's. Let's go.
Hell yeah, man. Well, hey, dude, you got any final closing thoughts or like one message for the specific people that are listening to this?
Um, I guess just like also like me is like it's too late. Like we're prideful people. Um, if you need to get in shape or like even mental stuff. Like I had a couple mental. I'm not gonna lie. I had a couple mental breakdowns, and a good friend of mine, James Gearing. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, yeah, behind the shield.
He's a really good friend of mine. I went to him and I talked to him, and I went to therapy and stuff. So it's like he helped me out a lot. He's a really good friend, and I just say like we all think we can like run through walls and like we're this alpha men because we're firemen. I believe like if you have mental health, get help. There's so many avenues. Like I use Talkspace, and the job pays for it, and like I feel so much better about life. Also, like your fitness is big in the fire service. Don't neglect it. Like I said, even if you just you're older and like you just walk on a treadmill for 20 minutes at a pace of 4. Do something.
Something.
Keep active.
Yep.
Because I feel like once you don't keep active, you're just going to go down that hill and then you're just going to become behind. We all know it's easier to get out of shape than get back in shape. You know, just day by day, just try to do something to stay active in this fire service. Like if it's like I said, walking, jump roping, something. Always try to keep active because one day you're just going to be like, oh no, what happened? So that's about it. Just keep, I said your mental health and just focus on your physical health and you'll be fine.
Yeah, beautiful, man.
Oh,
Well, that'll wrap it up. So
oh,
anybody, yeah, for if you know a big man out there or anybody that's into
please,
strongman,
yeah.
hit up the Bravest Strongman Club Instagram and
No,
yeah, give Billy a shout out, get connected, and build your tribe within the tribe. All right,
wonderful.
that'll close it out.
Um,
Thank you for listening.